Welcome to the first episode of hopefully a new series, if this gets any sort of views, of your Premier League Roundup. Now, I'm trying to find a better name for this series because Premier League Roundup is the most basic name possible for this kind of series. But we're just going to talk about a couple of subjects. I'll talk about West Ham. I like talking about other clubs as well. So yeah, let's just get into it, man. First, I think the main story of the whole evening is Stellini is Conte's assistant. Conte got sacked. Stellini was going to take charge until the end of the season. Daniel Levy put a thingy out. I actually did a video on the whole Conte thing, so check that out. And it was because of the Champions League football. Because you know what these owners are like with Champions League football. They need their Champions League football. And so Stellini was going to take charge. I don't remember what his first game was. I think it was Everton. They drew 1-1. I think Brighton was the next week. They won that game controversially. Definitely robbed Brighton. They then lost to Bournemouth, and now we're here today. I don't know. I think I might have missed a game. I might have missed a game or two because the Southampton one was Conte's last game, so I don't remember if I've missed a game or whatever because that was since the international break. And Stellini lost to Newcastle in a weird fashion. Played a 4-3-3, I think. Their players were so used to playing 5 at the back that Porro thought a centre-back was covering him. Perisic was playing left-back. He's a winger. That's been converted to wing-back. And Tottenham lost 6-1. They were winning 5-0 in 20 minutes, 19 minutes, something like that. Or it might have been 25 minutes. I'm not sure. Since they chat, and then they brought Davinson Sanchez on, a man Stellini scapegoated against Bournemouth and got booed off. Now, I have no problem with players getting booed off because footballers that keep getting away with it deserve it. But I think the head coach definitely scapegoated Davinson Sanchez. Stellini has been sacked. Long story short, Stellini has been sacked, and Brian Mason has taken charge. Yeah, a fun stat for everyone. Most people watching are West Ham fans anyway. A fun stat is that Tottenham are the first club to sack an interim, which is very funny. I don't know how they've managed to sack an interim, but it was also never a good idea to hire a number 2. That was of the Man U sacks, because they have the same tactics. It's just Conte. It's Conte light, as people have been saying. It's like. Yeah, it's like when they used to call Arteta Pep Light when he was his assistant. It's just Conte Light. It's the diet version of Conte. And same system, excluding the Newcastle one. There's nothing wrong with playing 4 at the back. You got to have the personnel to play 4 at the back. And you got to actually play on the front foot to play the 4 at the back if you're going to play with those players, because someone like Eric Dyer cannot play 4 at the back. He can barely play in midfield, and he can barely play in a 3. Christian Romero, probably one of the most overrated centre-backs ever. Name me more overrated centre-backs in the comments if you disagree. He can defend quite well, but he's way too rash, and when he needs to be aggressive, he's not aggressive. He then just takes people out and gets yellow cards, gets red cards. Pedro Porro looks like a winger. He looks like, if you're a West Ham fan, you would know putting Arthur Masuaku in the back 4 was never a good idea. Was a great wing back before his injury. That's where he looked like a fish out of water, as they say. So yeah, that was the Tottenham game. Speaking of Tottenham, I don't know whether he's a club legend, a club hero, a club icon, but he's pretty loved. They were singing his name a couple weeks ago. Mauricio Pochettino. He is going to be Chelsea manager. And I'm getting Benitez vibes, not because of how good Pochettino is. Pochettino's a really good manager. We don't know what he can do at this level. I guess at this level, Chelsea are 11th. We don't know what he can do with this Chelsea squad. Who he's going to delete from this squad, who he's going to bring in. Yes, who he's going to bring in. Chelsea have signed about 30 players, but they probably still need about 20 more, if we're being honest. Because a lot of their players that signed are wingers and young players. And we'll see. We'll see with that. It's very funny that the Pochettino was really liked by Tottenham. Shouldn't have really been sacked in the first place, in my opinion, because he was thrown under the bus. He wasn't backed, really. But he's gone to Chelsea, where he'll most definitely be backed. Todd Bowley just buying anyone they want. This makes me laugh. Now I've got to go back to hating Pochettino again, because I don't like Chelsea, I don't like Tottenham. I don't quite rate Pochettino, but I'm gonna have to go back to hating him. But I don't know whether he will do a good job. I'm not too sure. I don't know how much control he's gonna have, because Tuchel didn't have control, Potter didn't have control, so I don't know how much control he's actually gonna have. Did Potter really have control over the players that he signed? Is this owner really good enough? And like, just spending doesn't equal good. It's spending wisely as well. That's also a thing. According to Todd Bowley, you could just throw money at anything. But it is what it is. Will Pochettino play young players? Will he stick with the Hakim Ziyech of this world, who was close to leaving? Will he stick with... Will Mason Mount leave? Mason Mount's been linked to Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool and Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich makes sense because of Thomas Tuchel, who's not having a good start at Bayern Munich. But Mount seems like a Pochettino player. I don't know whether you can make him into Dele Alli. I doubt that, because Dele Alli had probably... That Dele Alli, the 2016 Dele Alli, probably had more technical ability than Mason Mount. Mason Mount has ability, but was very overrated at the time, and there's probably politics into the club about whether he's actually starting games because of the contract situation and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's funny to see Pochettino go to someone like Chelsea, seeing as Tottenham and Chelsea really do not like each other, and Pochettino's always been a guy that doesn't go to a club that's a rival of someone he's associated with, which is why he rejected the Barcelona job in 2019, because he's associated with Espanyol, and I think that's a derby. I think that's like a Catalan derby. I don't know what the derby's called, but it's something like that. And yeah, that's what we'll say on Chelsea. But Pochettino to Chelsea, it looks close. That looks like the most likely manager. Nagelsmann pulled out, and Enrique pulled out. Enrique wanted to take over straight away, and Nagelsmann had too many demands. Pochettino is a guy who can squeeze anything out of a team, which is why I was very unrealistic that when we were linked to him, as a West Ham fan, I thought, yeah, get him in. It's not going to happen. According to Jacob Steinberg, we approached Tuchel and Pochettino, and they weren't interested. Same with Emery. So whatever. I was never ever expecting that, but it must hurt Tottenham fans. It must hurt some Chelsea fans as well, because some Chelsea fans really don't want him. Because if you remember, when I said the whole Benitez thing earlier in this video, I was going towards the fact that at the time Benitez was booed off straight away because he was a Liverpool associated man, which was the same with his Everton job. Although Everton fans actually tried to welcome him, it didn't work. But Benitez was not a good idea going to Chelsea, to see how their fans were with the guy. They didn't like him because he was a Liverpool guy. And I think Pochettino will get a mixed reception. I don't know whether they'll be singing "He's Magic," and all that shit. But we will see. We'll move on to the title race. Arsenal and Man United. Jesus. Arsenal and Man City. This would be the last topic. Arsenal and Man City, who's going to win the league? I have Arsenal bottled it. I think they have. Even if Arsenal get something, even if they leave with something against Manchester City, I think City have got it in the bag. Because I feel like West Ham United are safe now, I don't give a shit about City away because I don't want Arsenal to win the league. I would never root for West Ham to lose a game. But when Man City score, I'm going to be like, oh no, we've conceded. Oh no, that's a shame. Unlucky Arsenal. That's how I'm going to be like, because I don't want Arsenal to win the league. I refuse. I can't stand their fan base. And I was wrong about Mikel Arteta, but this is the standard where Arsenal should be. Because when I was growing up, it was always Arsenal fans would always tell me, yeah, we got Champions League this year and a couple more signings. We're going to be back in the title race. I don't want Wenger out because we keep getting 4th place and we're not contending for the title anymore. That's how Arsenal fans used to be. Now it was top 4 anyway. We were trying to get top 4. No, but we were trying to get top 4. Yeah, we didn't win the league, but we're trying to get top 4. We're allowed to call Arsenal bottlers because I hate Tottenham. But if this was Tottenham, we'd be calling them bottlers because of the stigma. A bit like the 15-16 season when they were top for a very long time. I think they were top at Christmas. We're allowed to call them bottlers for the title. And in my opinion, Man City will go on and win it. There was a point where when they beat Man United 3-2 at home, I was like, oh my God, they're actually going to win the league. I can't see them like escape because that was like a title winning moment. I got pulled in. I was like, they're actually going to win the league. And I just didn't see City clicking. But City always click. This is just another lesson to never doubt Manchester City. Never doubt them. If they're close, they will win it. If they're close, they will win it. Not like when they were far away from Liverpool, and I'm not going to give them the injury excuse, but they were just far away from Liverpool at the time. Liverpool on fire in that 1920 season, and they were nowhere near, really. From what I remember anyway, I could be wrong, but now Arsenal fans are already scared. They're pulling out the excuse to, oh, we're not the only team to bottle it from this point, and all that. I think they are, from points wise, I think they are. I don't think any other team has lost it. But do you know what's funny? It's always like Arsenal fans are the epitome of positive spin and everything that goes with their narrative. Because it's always like, I think we'll win the league. And then when they're worried about not winning the league, it's, oh, but I'm proud of the boys anyway. We've got top 4. I'm so happy to be playing in Champions League again. Do teams like getting in the Champions League for the sake of it then? Because if you're like a West Ham fan, for example, like me, if just to see West Ham in the Champions League is mad, because we know we're never ever going to compete. We're never ever going to be ambitious enough to compete with top teams. Newcastle fans will love to see their team in the Champions League in their first season, and then future seasons they'll probably compete with the amount of money they have. Now, when you see Tottenham fans celebrating the fact that they came above Arsenal for the Champions League last season, Man United probably happy with Champions League this season, and Arsenal, etc. You know, clubs that are meant to be part of the Big Six, etc. Are they happy with Champions League just for being in it? Do they think they'll do anything in the Champions League? Because Arsenal, well, Wenger used to have this thing where he used to just get knocked out the round of 16. I think it was round of 16 or round of 32. There was like 4 or 5 times in a row he got knocked out of round of 16, round of 32. I think it was since that on re-final, it was like a mad stat like that. And I'm paraphrasing that stat because I'm not entirely sure what the stat was. But they always got into the Champions League, but didn't really compete for it, although they should have at the time. Because they are Arsenal and they should be ambitious. So this is where Arsenal should be anyway. We didn't expect Arsenal to be there, but expectations changed throughout the season. I thought we would get 7th this season, but we are 13th. Something like that anyway. That will be it. That will be it for the Premier League Roundup. If you guys did like the video, leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. Social media is in the description. If you want to follow me on the email for the inquiries. I'll see you guys later.